never slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up.
I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up and make a statement. I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up and make a statement.
Everything I do so instinctive and so passionate. Every word I move so descriptive like an adjective. I got a vendetta against people who patented being negative when you should be getting after it. I got facts over tracks, this and that. Spitting slow, spitting fast. I could roast, I could gas. Think I'm okay at last, but I don't know if that can erase all the past. And the pettiness, a reflection of the emptiness. Hilarious, you think you're worth my time, you're delirious. Mysterious, because you are behind a fake exterior. Inferior, you know I'll always be a bit superior. Get off of me, this ain't no humble brag. I want you to hear words, you can say them back. I want you to feel free from the chains at last, and to believe in what you got, it was built to last, yeah.
Now that I've been put through hell, I never got anyone's help. I had to do it all myself.
I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up and make a statement. I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up and make a statement.
All right, y'all, we're here. We're live. You're watching Buster Unmasked, and you know the drill. Like this video, share this video, go to Buster H.R. Johnson on YouTube and subscribe to my channel. Hit the notification bell. That way you don't have to worry about content. You'll know when it comes out. And look, guys, we're not going to waste any time. I'm going to promote my upcoming podcast, and we're going to get our guest on for the night.
I've got an itch I can't scratch, I'm missing a piece that completes a whole part of me, an open wound scar to see. Everybody come here, gather round, welcome to the freak show, the best in town. What the hell's wrong with me? I don't get along with anybody, honestly. I've been living in my own head constantly, thoughts jumbled round, think I need a new lobotomy. Wait, all these thoughts are too negative. I don't wanna get lost in the sedative. Gotta show them what I got, I'm competitive. You know I'm about to go off, I won't let them win, I'll take a stab. I wanna chase a bag, I wanna weigh, I can change all the things I lack. I gotta face the facts, I got a taste in that. Got me obsessed with the rest, I got an itch to scratch.
I'll give up everything. If I could see my dreams, I'll make things right. 'Cause I'll do anything to make what a reality. Don't let go. I'll make things right. 'Cause I'll do anything to make what a reality.
I just wanna find a way out, sick of the venom in my brain. Running from the past, wanna escape my pain. I just wanna be a better person, I deserve this. I just wanna break these chains. Always destined for greatness, true to myself, I never fake it. Seen too many once that I so they get famous. And when I say the truth, most really can't take it. In spite of everything I've been through, I'ma make it. Fake friends, but on my downfall is toxic. Day one, started to outlaws for profit. Now all I do is write verses, no talking. All I do is put the work in, no option. This was everything I ever wanted. Created a legacy off of me, just being honest. And the fake ones hate, but it's all to no avail. They wanna see me lose, but you know I never fail.
All right, guys, got some real cool podcasts coming up over the next few months. I'm going to be adding more. I'll add at least one more tomorrow. I've got several to add to the list. But tonight, man, let's talk about my guest tonight. This guy is a veteran of over 30 years in the wrestling business. He's a manager of champions, a manager extraordinaire, and I don't think there's any doubt that he is making a claim that he is the top manager around our territory right now. I don't think you can deny it. He manages the top guy, the Memphis Heritage Champion, WWE ID guy, Aaron Roberts, and he also is the head and the brains behind Memphis Wrestling's top faction, the New Wave. And I'll guarantee you this, he is the absolute best at what he does, the one and only Justin Case. Justin.
What's up, Buster?
What's up, man?
Oh, nothing, man. Ready for this podcast. Let's do it.
Yeah, man, we was having a little technical
I
difficulties.
was having technical difficulties.
Man, it's like it, dude. How's the weather? How's the weather where you at, man? Well, right there, we can see how the weather is. He's already blinking out. Justin, if you can hear me, you're out. I'm gonna pull you down and put you back in. There you are.
There we
You
are.
back now. All right.
Speaking of trouble, Grady Watson was just trying to call.
Grady Watson, there you go, man. And we're going to talk about MIW here in just a little bit, dude. But look, man, you've been in this business a long, long time. So you've been on here early on as a co-host. This is actually the first time I've had you on as a guest. So let's kind of take everybody back and smarten them up to how Justin Case got in the wrestling business. How you even discovered pro wrestling, man?
Well, I discovered pro wrestling because my aunts loved pro wrestling. It was Memphis wrestling. I lived in Nashville. We got it on Saturday morning, but it was a week behind.
Right.
As you know, it was a week behind. And we only got an hour of it, but that hour, like everybody, it was there to watch Memphis wrestling. And that's what I loved. I mean, I just loved it. And how did I get? I lived with my grandmother. My grandmother raised me. But every Saturday morning when it came on, Lance Russell would talk you to that building.
That's
every
right.
Saturday morning. First thing I started doing was trying to get a ride to the fairgrounds. Whether it be my aunts, whether it be my friend Jeff, who really took me a lot of times. My grandmother didn't drive at night, so it was up to me to get there.
Right. And the fairgrounds is honestly, it's gone now, right?
It is gone, yep.
And that's a crying shame because, man, that was a historic building for pro wrestling, man.
I love that. A lot of people, say, oh, my goal was to be at the Mid-South Coliseum. And it was fine, but mine was to be at the Nashville Sports Arena.
Yeah, man, cool building. That's where I was trained at. And, man, I was up there during my training, I was up there a few Saturdays because we'd always train on Sundays. And, man, a heck of an atmosphere. Always pretty much a packed house, man. Every time I was there, it was pretty much sold out.
Yeah, it was a nice building to have wrestling, and it's sad that they tore it down to build a soccer stadium, maybe. I can't remember what they did yet.
I don't know what they did with it either, but I knew they tore it down. Look, Justin, we got Zilla with us. Zilla says hi to the manager of Memphis, manager of the Memphis Wrestling Heritage Champion, the Problem Aaron Roberts, and Zay Washington and Denzel Rollins, just in case. Zilla came back on us, man. He says, I love and I like and I respect and I appreciate the manager of champions, just in case, and the Memphis Wrestling Heritage Champion, the Problem Aaron Roberts, and Zay and Denzel. Got fans out there, man. Y'all supposed to be bad guys, but they seem to like you, dude.
They do. I was telling Aaron just Sunday, I was saying, man, these people are starting to cheer us more than they're booing us now. So what's with this?
Well, you know what they say, man. A cool heel is really a baby face, man. So,
yeah.
I mean, sometimes you can't fight that. Sometimes the fans decide.
Yeah.
No matter what you want, man. Look, Mark McGee's with us. He said, good evening, brothers. What's up, Mark? Glad you're watching, dude. And you know this guy, he's with us, Cordell Roberts, the bull from the woods, the man, the myth, the legend, the best family advisor.
That's my guys right there. I manage a lot of people in wrestling. I mean, a lot of them. But those two guys right there, I have more fun with those two than I have just about with anybody. I mean, I've had fun with others, but these two, just like we gelled. It was like peanut butter and jelly.
Hey, from the minute you and Aaron got together, it took me about 2 times seeing y'all together, and I think there's been magic there. I think that's where the magic started with the whole family and you, man. I do.
Yeah, no doubt. No doubt. It started. A funny thing about that, if you want to talk about that, is in Missouri, we turned him heel, right? And I had no idea whatsoever that he had turned on Zay at TV the week before.
Oh,
No idea. No idea at all. And
so
so when I get home on, I guess that was a Saturday, that Sunday, I sent Dustin a message because I was at Memphis Wrestling with Derek as the driver or something like that, and that fell through. It was just
right.
not the right time. And he said, look, think of something. And I waited a whole year almost until the right thing came along. And I sent him a message. And I sent it to him and I said, I think this will work. And immediately, the phone rang. He was like, I love it. He said, let me talk to Aaron tomorrow and we'll get back with you. And on Monday night, he called me back and Aaron called me and was like, hey, let's do this.
Yeah, man. I think y'all. You gave Aaron something he didn't have, and I think he gave you that guy.
Oh,
That guy. I do. Every manager needs that guy. Needs that one guy that is the guy for him. And I think it was a match made in heaven, dude. I do. Y'all have been. It seems to be an upward trajectory ever since y'all got together.
Oh, it's been great. I've had more fun. I've had, and I really don't. I'm an old school guy. I like the old school wrestling. You know, I'm an old school Memphis guy, and I like that. But he taught me to like this new stuff. You know, and there's ways that we put it together. That hey, I would say I really don't say much, but I say hey, I think this will work here. And a lot. If Dustin comes and say hey, I want that Memphis finish, then that's my turn. You know, I studied those finishes and when he wants a Memphis finish, then that's what that's when I come in there.
And I don't think people realize how important good finishes are. I mean, they make or break matches, angles, whole storylines. They can make or break, man.
They sure can. They
definitely
do.
And if you're a good finish guy, man, every pro wrestling company needs a good finish guy. Simple as that.
No doubt. Yeah, that's the only time really. If he says something, hey, I need this Memphis finish, then Aaron's going to say, hey, Justin, give me a good Memphis finish.
I think y'all have done a real good job. I think Aaron may be the hybrid of, especially around our area, of mixing the modern wrestling with the old school mentality. Because I feel like that's when we talk about old school wrestling. I mean, look, we're everybody's kind of doing the same things in the ring.
Right.
It's just who's doing it and how they individually make it their own. But I feel like it's the mentality. And I feel like that's where you come into play at. He's got these new ideas, and you figure out how to make them make sense like they should so the people can understand them.
Yep, no doubt. It's it takes 2, it takes 3, it takes 4. It takes a lot of people, you know. It's the other guy's got to be willing to do that finish. But he's got to be able to trust us, you know.
Right.
And most of the time, it's our finish. It even, you know, most of the time it's Aaron does it's our finishes. You know, they like our finishes. I mean, that's just, I don't know.
You're the finish guy.
Yeah, I guess.
There you go. So look, let's rewind. Kind of back to the start. Like you said, everybody's dream is to work the Mid-South Coliseum. Your dream, work the Nashville Fairgrounds. So take us all the way back. How did you actually get involved in wrestling, going from a fan to a talent, man, in the business?
All right. First of all, I met a guy named Tim Brown. He wrestled as the Boston Strangler. He passed away now, but I got to give him credit. I met him, and honestly, probably what he needed was a ride to the show in Shelbyville, Tennessee. So, but he was like, "Hey, you know, this and this." I didn't start. I just went to the show with him, and then we met Tony Falk. I met Tony Falk, who I owe every bit of everything to him by far.
Right. Tony's a great dude, man.
Oh my God, man! I mean, I met him, and I would start coming to Memphis with him. I would start going to shows with Tony, And then Tony would work that, back then, the outlaw shows, not, those spot shows or whatever, outlaw shows like Shelbyville and Columbia. And he was like, hey, what do you think about, managing? I was like, man, I don't know. He was like, come on, let's just try it. And then that was before, but I remember you talking about the school in Nashville at the fairgrounds.
Right.
I actually came to that school once. Jeff Jarrett was running it, and I came to that school once. But back then, I had to work. I was living with my grandmother. It was just us, so
right.
It was out of the reach at that time. And if I would have known this, if Tony was like, Jeff told him, just tell him to come. I won't charge him or something, to that effect.
Right.
And then then Tony, we started going to towns. I started going to towns with Tony, and then started managing Tim on these outlaw shows, Saturday, Sundays, Central City, Kentucky, Beaver Dam, Kentucky.
Beaver Dam.
Beaver Dam. I love those towns, man. I loved it. I mean, guys like Wolfie D was there. Tracy Smothers would come through. Jamie Dundee.
Right.
I was there the night in Beaver Dam that Wolfie D said, hey, Jeff, film this so we can send it back to your dad. He was like,
oh,
I'll
really?
film it, but I ain't taking it to dad. You go talk to him, And he filmed it for him and that. But then that's how I got into it, more or less. It's just, I guess getting to meet Tony Falk maybe helped a lot. Billy Travis, Then I started going with Tony, like I said. Then Tony started riding with Jeff and Frank Morrell. Then I got lucky because then Jeff liked me for some reason. He did.
Right.
So I was riding with Jeff and Frank Morrell and Tony Falk, and just sometimes coming to TV and just listening and stuff like that. Riding with Bill Smithson, Moondog Spot.
Right.
Richard Lee, and Tony in that old van. I'll never forget that old van he had. Woo. I was worried if he was going to make it.
I can imagine, man. I can imagine, dude.
And more or less, that's how it all came about. Just being around it, I guess.
A lot of people. Here's the thing. That's how a lot of people fall in the wrestling business kind of that way at times, especially back then. Like you said, originally the guy man needed a ride, and that was the crack in the door right there.
That was
Boom.
it. That was it.
And then meeting Tony, meeting Jeff. I mean, hell, you can't get no better than riding in cars with those guys, man. That's how you learn.
Yeah. That was definitely how I learned. And I'm the type that I'd rather drive than ride. I just do. I'd rather. It's just me, I'd rather drive, and sometimes I drive that big old gray Lincoln he had. Well, that thing was huge. I'm probably 18 or 19, and this thing is huge. And I'm like, oh, Lord.
So talk to me about your very first match, man. Talk to me about the very first time you actually went out on the floor in front of the crowd, man.
Oh, my God. I think it was, if I'm not mistaken, I think it was Beaver Dam, Kentucky with Tim Brown, the Boston Strangler. And if I'm not mistaken, I think he worked Gary Scott, Gary Valiant.
Right.
If I'm not mistaken. I could be wrong on that, but I do believe that's who he worked that night. And Beaver Dam, because they was, goodness, I guess Gary had to be 18 or 19 then.
How was it for you? Were you nervous or?
Oh, I was scared to death. Because he did a Boston Strangler thing, and they put me in an all black with a mask on, right, a black hood, and me out there with him in all black. It was
right.
It was weird. It was just weird. I was nervous. You
Good
know,
way to break
luckily
the ice, though, for you. Good
yeah,
way to
it
break
was
the
good.
ice for you.
It was good. And it just got easier as I went along, and then, goodness, I guess, ended up in Paducah, Kentucky. Tony and his brother and
Right.
ran Paducah, and that was every other Sunday. I would drive from Nashville to Paducah, which is not far, but then I remember my PO every week, no matter how many people was in that house. I mean, no matter how many they drew, it was $10.
Right.
It was $10. Never no more, never no less. Until I did it for about 2 years. And I got my envelope and I looked in it, and it was $100 bill.
There you go.
And there was a note in there that said, "I think you paid all your dues."
That's
so
it
far.
right there.
It.
Right
that was
there.
It. That was it. Now it wasn't $100 bill every other time, but that one time there was $100 bill in it.
And that's one thing. I mean, everybody talks about paying your dues, and most people equate it to setting up rings, setting up chairs, cleaning up, this kind of stuff. But really, a lot of paying your dues is working for little to no money until they decide that you paid enough dues, and then boom, if they like you, you do the job good. And there's a lot of that, man. Dude, the first time me and my brother together ever got paid, we got $5 together to split, man.
There was some of those in Shelbyville and Columbia. There was some of those.
Look, Justin, we look at it, back in the day, dude, it just hand shook us that $5.
Yeah, there wasn't no envelope then. No, back then I didn't waste no envelope until got to Paducah. They would just shake your hand with that $5, say thank you, and they smiled at it. They thought it was great. It probably was, but
I'll be honest with you. That's part of paying your dues in the wrestling business. That's part of it. Ain't just the pain. It ain't just the road trips. Right. It ain't just the sacrifice from your family. The money. They want to see what you are willing to do for the wrestling business.
That was the question, no doubt. I seen them say, and I never complained whether it was a $2, $5, or whatever. Never complained one time. Never. And I guess they saw that. I was willing to do it. Because I loved it. I loved wrestling. I've always loved it since I can remember. And I guess the fairgrounds started like in 1981. I don't remember much before that. And I'm probably sure I went to Nick Goulis's with my grandmother and them or something, but I don't remember that. But I remember Jarrett's promotion in 1981. But Paducah, Kentucky, I learned a lot. There was a lot of guys that came through there.
Right.
Tony knew a lot of people, and Big Timmy, I think you know him, Kroll.
Yeah, dude, that was the first guy I met when I went to the fairgrounds. The very first guy I met was him, man. Got about a size 18 damn shoe.
He does.
And big guy.
I just talked to him Saturday night. We left EPW and it was storming, and he called and was checking on, see if we had some bad weather. He's a good guy. I love Timmy.
Hey, he's the first. He gave me my first piece of advice sitting outside the fairgrounds. We had got there, and I think jail for Tony was running a little bit late, so the building wasn't open yet. So we're sitting out in the front on the little concrete gimmicks that separate the car from the building. And he said, he asked me, had I been involved? And I told him, said, no, this was it. This is my first day here. And he said, well, look, I'm gonna tell you something right now. You'll never watch wrestling again after today. You'll never watch it the same way. Not you won't watch it again. You'll never watch it the same way. And he wasn't lying, man. I never looked at wrestling the same way again. After that, one training session, and man, from then on, when I watched wrestling, I could see things that I couldn't see before that. Like how they did certain things, that I never could pick up on before. But man, it immediately, it was like a light bulb. Right. But he was the guy. It's the first thing he told me. He said, you'll never watch wrestling the same way again. And he wasn't lying.
Yeah, I love right. Timmy. Yeah. And back to Gary Valiant, I posted earlier that I was going to tell you a story about how we ended up in the back of a hearse. Well, Tim Brown, he said, I'm going to drive tonight. We're going to Central City. I was like, all right. Well, on the way back on 65, there's no exits. Well, his car started running hot. So we're stuck on the side of the road, and we're a good way. Tim lived up at the, what was that hotel there? The Congress Inn.
And what years? What time frame are we in? Is this before cell phones?
It was before cell phones, yes.
Yeah, people don't know what it's like to be broke down when you don't have a cell phone right there no more, man.
No exits. And,
right.
My little brother's with us, and it's Tim Brown, his wife, and Gary Valiant. So they said, well, it's a good walk. So me and Gary said, well, we'll start walking and see what happens. So Gary starts hitchhiking. He sees a light, so he sticks his thumb out, and I'll be damned if it ain't a hearse. The hearse pulls over. All right. He said, I'll give y'all a ride back. Man, I look at Gary. I was like, I can't do this. He's like, man, it's a long walk.
Right, right.
We all pile up in that hearse. And he takes us to the Congress Inn. So Tim Brown gets on the gurney, right? And every time we pull up to, he puts the gimmick on the mask he wore. And every time he pulls up to a red light, he'll set up and we'll push him back down. People's blowing their horns. It's crazy. We pull up at the Congress Inn and all of them come running out. They thought somebody had died there.
Hey, you can't deny that. I would Gary, that damn or Tim, that hearse ride's a hell of a lot better than that walking, man.
Oh yeah, but still, man, I was like, oh my God, I don't know if I can do this.
Dude, I'd have gotten that mug even if there was a dead body in that sucker, dude. I ain't gonna lie.
He asked him, said, how long has it been? He said, I just dropped them off about 20 minutes before I picked y'all up.
Fresh.
Ooh, man, it was scary. And the doors don't open from the inside.
Right.
So I'm thinking, I look at Gary and I was like, man, what if this dude tries to kill us? We can't get out of here.
Hey,
I'll kick that window out.
Y'all done got picked up by the phantasm, dude, man.
It was crazy. But he got us there. He got us back safe.
So look, Justin, you've been in this business a long, long time. Take me through some of the different places that you've worked at, man. I know you can't take me through all of them because I'm sure there's probably more that's out of business now than that you've actually worked at right now. But take me through the places that you've like chronologically, like from Paducah to where.
I guess we started out in Central City and Beaver Dam, which is right there in Kentucky. Then probably Shelbyville for Chris Champion and Columbia for the Mortons. And then I went to Paducah. Then we went to Dale Mann in Bowling Green, Kentucky. That's where I had my very first wrestling match. The guy that was supposed to be Tim's partner didn't show up. So Dale was like, you going to be his partner. Man, you talking about scared. I was scared.
Right.
It was him and some other guy, and that guy was so strong. And I wasn't as big as I am now, but I was pretty big. Man, he yanked me up like nothing and hit me with the FU or whatever. It's not what it was called back then. I don't know what he called it. But, man, he picked me up like nothing. I was like, holy crap. I was scared to death. I was shaking. I didn't even want to get in. I stayed in the corner, trying not to tag them.
Giving them the short arm every time they come over. The arm getting shorter and shorter.
I was looking for the rope.
Right.
Then Tony came to me and said, hey, they got a deal they want us to do on TV, and I want you to be part of it. So Tony had lost his hair the week before to Jeff Jarrett for a shot at the Southern title or something. So they wanted us to be his family members and put our hair on the line. Tony's family members versus the Southern title, right?
Right.
Well, Tim did it. A guy named Eddie Tedder did it. But he wanted somebody to be his dad. So this is a good story. So me and Tony go downtown Nashville, and we find this homeless guy. His name is Donald Davis. He's homeless. I promise you. We go find him. We tell him, hey, there's a good chance that you will lose your hair, but we need you to put it on the line, and he's going to be your son so he can get a title shot at wrestling. And he said, well, who you wrestling? He said, Jeff Jarrett. And when he said that, that guy said, I love Jeff Jarrett. So here we are with a homeless guy, and we take him to first of all, we pick him up on Friday night, and we take him over to Tim Brown's house to pick him up to come to Memphis because we're going to stay night Friday night. Man, I look up, he's in there shaving with Tim Brown, putting his deodorant on. It's the best. So we get him there and we bring him to Memphis. And he does TV. We do TV, and we go out there, and he's like, you put it, and we get a little huddle, and his dad said, or David said, I'll put my hair up. So Jeff Jarrett said, you telling me that if I beat Tony, I get to shave your head in the Mid-South Coliseum? He was like, yep. So we go, that's a Saturday, go back to Nashville. Well, we go to pick him up Monday morning. We told him to be there at 2 o'clock Monday, right? We get there Monday at 2 o'clock. No Donald Davis. So we're waiting, right? He's like, oh, where's he at? About 2:20, he comes walking up the sidewalk where we told him to meet. And he's got like 4 bags of cans. He goes, we got to hide these before we leave. So
4 bags of cans we got to hide.
That's right. He hid them over behind a dumpster or something. And here we go to Memphis, right? That guy gets there. Tony puts Jeff over. He sits down in the middle of the ring, and they pay him 5 $100 bills to get his head shaved in the Mid-South Coliseum. A homeless guy.
Hey,
it was the best thing ever.
I can imagine, man. My question is, did y'all, when it was over, did you drop him right back out with his cans, man?
He told us, he said, y'all can just leave me in Memphis. I'll get it right back. We said no. Because we had talked to the people at the homeless shelter and told them what we was doing, right? And I said, we're going to take you right back when we beat you up in that homeless shelter. They don't think we killed you or something.
Hey, that's a good day's work, man.
It was. It's crazy. Back then, $500. I mean, it was. Lawler messed with him the whole night, though. Lawler was like, how come your last name's Davis and his is false? He said, you got to ask him that.
Hell yeah, that's a hell of a payday for a homeless dude.
It was. It was crazy. It was. I laugh at that all the time. I'll never forget that dude's name, Donald Davis. So we did that. Then I kind of just laid low. I love baseball, Had my son, was coaching baseball. I laid low, didn't really do much. LT, who is Tony's son,
right.
Tony would drop him off at my house when he would come to Memphis. Him and Candy, his ex-wife, Candy Kane. And we would watch LT and Kayla, the younger daughter, on Mondays and Tuesdays or whatever, when Candy was working or whatever. And I just laid low. I really didn't do much. Then, that was in Nashville. Then I moved to Memphis. And still didn't do much. When Tony would do Power Pro, he would come to my house the night before and spend the night. And I would go over with him to Power Pro. And a funny story there is one time I went with Tony. I've been going a couple times, but Randy would always print out these sheets, and he would only give them to certain people, Well, I was sitting there, and Tony laid it on the table, and I picked it up, was reading it. Tony didn't tell me not to read it, He didn't say, and I didn't know not to read it. So Randy came over and was mad as hell, right? I mean, he was mad as hell. He was going to throw me out of that. It was still at Channel 5. He was going to throw me out of there, and Tony didn't. But then me and Randy came close after that. So, we came closer. But he was mad because I was reading that sheet. I didn't know not to read it, and nobody told me don't touch it.
The run sheet, basically.
It was more or less. It wasn't the run. Basically, it was, but it was like the notes that he would give to certain people.
Right.
Where we're going with this, or what are we going to do? Him and Brandon and Tony. And there was a couple other, I'm sure.
Right.
But I did it, and it pissed Randy off. And I didn't know. Randy didn't. We talked about it. It was like he didn't tell you. I didn't tell you. So that was wrong. But now me and Randy's cool. And actually, I did the cover for Randy's book, the cover, back cover, and stuff for Randy's book he wrote.
Oh, I didn't know that, man.
Oh yeah, and
that's cool.
Yeah. Then I get a call from, I don't know. Did you ever work Paducah for Tony?
I worked there a few times, man.
Dennis Mason, who owned part of it, called me and said, "Hey, I'm going to a show in Garland, Tennessee." He said, "Why don't you come up there and manage me?" I was like, "Man, I don't know." He was like, "Come on." So I on the way there, I get a call from him and said, "Man, I can't make it." I was like, "Oh my God." So I went on and went, and it was some outlaw guys that ran the show. Then that's when I got that catch. It was back then, and then I started just going back at it, working some of these shows around here. And I talked to Cross. He was running South Haven, right? And I said, "Hey, what about me coming there?" And he was like, "Well, I don't know." He said, I'll give you a shot." I'd never talked to Cross before in my life. I just went to a show there and found out who was booking it and sent him a message, right? The first show, I show up there, it's at a church. And this match is who I'm with. It's Johnny Dotson versus Bill Dundee. And Bill Dundee is the heel.
At a church.
At a church. And I can't remember the church. It drew pretty good, though. It was literally in the sanctuary. It wasn't, the ring was set up right up on the stage. So then I got back in at South Haven, and that's where I met Brody. I guess Brody was kind of booking it, him and Cross maybe. But that night, the first night, he said, "Hey, can you come Friday?" And I was like, "Yeah." I came to South Haven, and he said, "Hey, next Saturday, they got a big show at EPW." I didn't know what EPW was. He's like, "It's in Boonville, Mississippi. Do you want to come?" And I said, "Sure." So I had no clue where it was at. I show up in Boonville, and I'm managing. It may have been, I don't remember who it was, but I remember it was a big show. It had like the triple battle royal or double ring battle royal, and I can't remember her name. It was that owned the place, but she was handing out POs and POs and POs. And I don't remember how much she gave me, but she handed Brody like $3, right? She said, "This is all I got left." He balled that $3 up. I remember like it was yesterday, and threw it at her. He said,
"That sounds like Brody."
He said, "You need this more than me." And then I'm thinking, "Oh my God, this dude's freaking," I really didn't know Brody. And he walked by me and he looked at me and he said, "Can you be in South Haven Friday?"
There you go.
I was like, "Yeah." So then we was there, South Haven, and oh God, where else? Then we just started going everywhere with Brody, and I had fun with Brody. And who else was it? Brody and Cody. Yeah, that was who it was. And then I guess stayed in South Haven for a while. Goodness, for a few years, I guess. Then after that, oh goodness, I guess Memphis Wrestling would have started by then. No, then we went to SPWA in Raymer, Tennessee, and that's the night that we got fired. Grady fired me and Brody because a guy was coming up behind me, was going to hit me with a chair, right?
Right.
And if Brody had to turn around, he was going to knock me out from behind. And Brody hit that dude, man. And then the fans, I don't know why the problem was. And then we got fired by Grady. The next day he called and said, "Man, we can't that was too much heat. We can't have that." And Brody said, "Too much heat."
Dude.
Yeah.
I mean, Here's the thing: if the fans go cross the line, what are you supposed to do?
That's right. He would have knocked me out with a chair. He would have hit me in the back of the head if Brody hadn't just turned around and saw him coming.
And here's the thing: you had to have some good heat for him to want to hit you
They was
like
mad.
that. So
I don't remember what we did, but they was ticked off. Then I guess we went back to EPW. Brody was booking, and that's the first time that we ever turned babyface, and it was only for a couple weeks.
Brody, babyface?
We did, because Cynthia had turned babyface and was the commissioner, right? And we was in an angle kind of messing with her, but he said, we got to do something different. So Beer 30 was coming in, and they told Cynthia, we'll beat you up, we'll do something to you or whatever. And that's when Brody's music hit came out there, and he said, before you touch her, you got to go through me, right? And Cody was out there, and I was out there, and they had a little manager. I don't remember who it was. But we turned babyface for like 3 weeks. And I'm going to tell you, I bought like 100 8x10s of me and Brody and Cody. I bought like 40 T-shirts. And the first night, we said, this is the only night we're doing this. The first night, sold every one of them.
And that's
first
what it's
time
about.
I ever sold them. First time I ever sold anything, right? It was the first night. It was lined up. Cody didn't want to do it because he was a heel at heart, right? He didn't want to do it. And I was like, come on, man, they're lined up. He said, there's no way they're lined up. He looked out there, and they was lined up waiting for us to get out there.
So look, I've seen that turn good heels into baby faces, whether the promoter or booker wanted them to be or not.
Right.
Because you figure out how much money, because especially back in those days, the heels didn't go out like they do now. They ain't wandering out with the fans. You'd get fired immediately if you were out there.
I hate it. Still to this day, I don't like to go. If it's a kid now, I'm not going to. Nowadays, you never know about a kid. You know what I'm saying? If it's a kid, I'm gonna by themselves. I'm gonna talk to them. I'm gonna do something. But if it's an adult, I'm not stopping.
Right. I mean, here's the thing. It's bad enough that the baby faces were really only out there during the intermission or maybe before the show started selling gimmicks at their tables. They wasn't just roaming around the whole night, too, in amongst the fans.
I don't like that at all.
I don't either, man. I don't like it, even when the baby faces still do it. Look, I ain't got no problem with them coming out before the show starts, sitting at their gimmick table, selling their merch, coming out during intermission, doing the same thing.
Make them want to see you more. Because if they see you all the time, talk to you all the time, they ain't coming back next week to talk to you.
They definitely ain't buying no shirts and ain't buying no pictures or none of that. Right. And it's detrimental to the wrestling business, in my opinion.
I hate it. I do not like it. I don't talk to too many fans at all.
And I'm like you. If it's a kid, even as a heel, if a kid come up and wanted my autograph, I'm not going to be an asshole to that kid.
No, I can't do it.
I'm not going to hug him and kiss him, but I'm going to sign his autograph and say, there you go, young man. Get the heck out of here. Something like that.
That kid still wants you to be that heel.
I
believe it.
And here's the thing, man. That's different. Like when I first got in the business, a lot of them old ideas were still around. Like even then, heels wouldn't even do that. They wouldn't even sign autographs for a kid.
No.
And the promoter would get mad at you if you did.
And they didn't pull up at shows together either. I remember time after time we would come to Memphis, and we would drop, if there was a baby face in the car or just one heel, we'd drop them off at the Coliseum over there by the cow trailer, over in the thing, and they walked.
Yeah, it's like it, man. I wore a hood forever, and shit. Look, if we were going into town and going to be there all night and had a motel, I pulled into the room with my hood on, went into the room with my hood on. If I left the fucking room, I had my hood on.
Yeah.
The way it was, man. It's just how it was. And so let's talk about heat, Justin, because the guy wants to hit you. Brody had to make the save for you. But do you feel like a lot of times now that wrestlers and a lot of times promoters now, maybe even more than the wrestlers, they want you to get heat, but only to a certain level?
Oh, no doubt. There's some that say they don't want you to get heat where the people are. I like getting heat where they want to come in the ring. You know, that's the kind I want to get. I want to get it. I want to. We was just, for instance, we was just at Union City Wrestling with Cordell in there, and there were some guys that wanted to come in that ring, but I told them to come on. Hey, but look what you got to deal with when you get in here.
And that's what it is. Here's the thing. Don't get outside the ring into their domain,
Right.
but you stay in the middle of that ring, and I'm still
That's
a firm believer. If they slide under them ropes,
It's over with.
put the boots to them. Slide
Yep.
them right back out, man.
Slide them back out. Yeah, that's the kind of if that promoter don't want you to get that kind of heat, then what do you got me there for, right?
And
I probably ain't coming back. Yeah.
Well, since you said promoter, because I said you've been in the business for 30 years, manager of champions. But one thing I missed and I meant to say was now, I mean, you're half owner of MIW. You are a promoter now. So what's your stance at MIW for heat? Do you want guys to get that real heat?
I want them people to be so mad they're trying to come through that curtain and get them. That's their job, right? Don't you agree?
Dude, if you're a heel, man, I have seen so many guys. Look, there was a lot of times damn near every Friday night in Osceola, Moondog had to go out and smooth over stuff with the fans that got so mad at one of the heels that they were ready to. They either wanted an apology or they were going to quit coming. And Moondog would say, "Let me go take care of it." He'd go out there. 5 minutes later, he'd come back. He'd smile. He'd grin at you. It's all good. It's all good.
I got two good stories. That first one with Larry Booker is I had just started. I was with Tony. We was in a USWA town that Mike Samples was running somewhere in Kentucky, right? I still really wasn't smart to the business. I was smart to the business, but I wasn't thinking. I was still young, right?
Right.
So they didn't have a ring announcer. And Mike Samples said, "Will you do it for me?" I was like, "Yeah, I'll do whatever," right? So the Moondogs, I introduced the Moondogs. They hit the ring and started at me with a chair, and I didn't powder, right? I stood there. So I got to the back. He goes, "Look, I know you're young. I like you." He said, "But next time I got to hit you with that chair."
It's a wonder he didn't.
That's what he said. They said, "It's a wonder he didn't hit you," but he said he must have liked you.
Right.
Because or he would have. And he knew I was young, I guess. But he said, "Next time I got to hit you because you kill the heat," right? Luckily, there wasn't that many people there. But that was the time, Larry taught me something then, right? He did. He taught me. And then I knew from on. Now, you're talking about heat. I forgot to mention, when we went to Athens, Alabama. This building is smaller than the MIW building, but it was packed. Me, Tim Brown, Tony Falk. It was packed all the time. When the house started going down, and Alvin Wallace was the owner, promoter. He said, "We got to do something to get these people mad." So his daughter was sat there, and she did rung the bell and stuff. So Tony said, "Has anybody ever touched her?" He said, "Never." He said, "Well, we're fixing to do it tonight." So we get the old ether out and we put it on him.
Oh.
Right? We put the ether on him, and then we get the daughter in the ring and start whipping her. I mean, Tony's just whipping her with a belt. Man, these people come out of the bleachers into it. They was coming in the ring. We had to get out of there, right? So we ran to the back. They would not leave. They stood around my wife's car out back and would not leave. They peed all over the car. They poured beer all over it. We had to call the cops to come get us out of that place.
That's good heat.
That's heat.
That's good heat, right?
It was great.
Definitely.
But back to MIW. Yeah. Grady's daughter, she owned part of it, and Grady was, Grady's not in the greatest of health. whatsoever. You know, he's had a couple of heart attacks. Prayers for his son too. His
Right.
son was, if you don't know, he broke his leg in 4 places. He was driving a tow truck, from what I understand, and the cable broke and wrapped around his leg when they was pulling it.
Ooh.
Yeah,
Right, man.
but
He
they
got
it
in that
up.
bite, man.
Yeah, they got it fixed up. So there, but Grady, you know, he's had a few heart attacks or something here, and he came to me and he goes, "My daughter really don't want, you know, she wants to be away from this. She don't really care." He said, "What do you think about it?" I was like, "Grady," I told him I didn't want to do it at first, right? I didn't do it at first, and then probably 3 or 4 months later, he came back and I said, "All right, let's do it." But I really don't say much. I just let it go. You know, I don't really do the. Jason Genesis is the booker, who I love to death. He's booking it. He brings. It's not the same people every week. You know, that's what I kind of like. It's not different people coming in to work. Different people. You know, we got your mainstays, but you still got guys. I think Jason Painter was just there this week with working Marco.
Jake Painter, yes.
Jake Painter, yeah.
How was that match, man? Because that's a main event match, man.
It is. I wasn't there this week. I didn't go. So from what I was told, it was excellent. It was great.
And Jason, I think if I'm correct, he's been wrestling about 5 years. I'm thinking.
Yeah.
I've actually got him on the show tomorrow night. Him and Johnny Dotson's facing off in the great debate for old school and new school. Yeah. But Jason's one of the guys, man. He's actually trained a few guys, and he's one of the few guys that, hell, it seems like all the guys he trained are out here working, starting to work the circuit and doing pretty good everywhere.
They are, and I know he trained Marco, I guess, and then maybe there's some more that he's trained. I like.
Brown Sugar is a trainee. I know that.
He is. I like him. We did a little angle with him. I guess maybe a month ago. I had a match with him. That was pretty good. You know, I like that kid. He listens. He don't complain about nothing. He does whatever. I mean, he pretty much updates the flyers. He does all that stuff. So. He's good, but I really don't say much. You know, I just sit there and let it. And now if it comes to a point, you got to step in. I will, you know, because Grady ain't gonna say nothing.
Right. He
don't want nobody mad at him. But I'm to the point where I don't care. You know, if you're mad, you're mad. You're mad. If you get mad about somebody trying to help you, then. You don't need help.
Yeah, you got an issue anyway, man.
I always heard if they stop talking to you, they're done with you. They don't want to help you no more.
Right.
That's what they think.
And here's the thing about having a booker, man. You have to have if you're going to have a booker, you have got to trust that booker. You 100%. Have got to give him enough time, ample time to put his ideas and his stories and his angles out there. And you got to give it enough time to see it if it works. You can't bring a booker in and in 3 weeks if he ain't doing it ain't going like you think it should. You can't just jerk him out because sometimes it takes time to get the fans reprogrammed to what's going on now.
Yeah, it does. Because if you do it every 3 months, then you're right back at square one every 3 months.
Right.
And there's no need in that. You know, I just don't. I don't like that. Just let him be. You know, I let him be. Now I do throw some ideas, and some he likes, some he don't. And I don't say, well, I'm part owner, so I'm gonna do it anyways. You know what I'm saying? I don't. Say
right.
That. I'm not that type of person.
Well, I mean, you got to trust your bookers. I mean, I see so many guys. I see so many companies that switch bookers so much. I mean, sometimes it's like every couple of weeks there seems to be somebody new calling the shots, and I'm like, how do you expect to get anything happening when you're constantly changing? You can't.
And I don't really like change a lot. I like my, let it be, like you're saying. Let let it go. Now 6-8 months. If it ain't nothing changed, then hey, that I'll give you almost a year.
And even the best bookers get stale after a certain amount
Oh,
of time. You got to give them a break and let them get all. I mean, that's the main reason why Lawler and Jarrett switched up,
yep,
because you get stale. You're good.
you
You
do.
can have all the ideas in the world, and you might have a year's worth that work great, but then that writer's block kicks in,
Yep.
and it's time to make a little change because you need a break. Whoever the booker is needs
But
a
the
break.
thing is, always remember, don't be the person that somebody has to tell you that, right? Be the
Right.
person to think, man, it's time. Go to them and say, hey, I've not got it right now. Let somebody else do it. Give me a
Yeah, there
break.
ain't no. Yeah,
Yep.
I agree with that 100%. Let me ask you this, Justin. Now that you're part owner, is there what's the biggest headache you've had? In is look, you've been in the business long enough. I'm assuming you expected pretty much everything that's happened, but is there anything that you didn't quite expect now that you're an owner that you're dealing with?
Uh, I didn't expect as much money as you got to. You don't see no money. You know what I'm saying?
Hey,
I promise you, you're putting out more and you're getting back.
Hey, one of the first things I was told was pro wrestling's a rich man's sport.
It is.
And
I ain't rich. My wife ain't happy.
but it takes money. I mean, here's the
It
thing:
does.
running an independent show. I mean, like you said, you're putting more money. You're doing good if you break even.
Oh yeah,
You,
no doubt.
you,
And
I mean,
I like if you're gonna run a show, it's got to be identified, right? So we went. They just had an old generic title that said World Heavyweight Champion. I just bought a new title. Just gave it to them last week, week before last. Uh, I bought a brand new one. It says Middleton Independent. It's all Middleton. But
right?
what I did was I took the Smoky Mountain World Heavyweight title and just made it the Independent Heavyweight title. The Middleton. The exact same title.
Yeah.
No difference. Just changed the name. Because I love that Smoky Mountain title that Cornette had. And I said, if I ever own it, I'm going to get it. And that's what I bought. I bought it. And
Well, you got to
so that was good.
brand your, like you said, it's all
Yep,
about the brand. It's all about
it is.
MIW. The one thing I've noticed is over the past several months, probably 4 or 5, maybe even a little longer than that, the flyers y'all put out on Facebook and wherever else changed. The style of them changed. I like
Yes.
they're a little more they're a little more upper echelon
Yep.
flyers now. I like what you're doing there. It makes the company
Yep.
look better.
I said,
You know
that's the first thing they see, right? The first thing
exactly.
they see when they go online is that on Facebook. And if it's just a bunch of people thrown together, it's not there. And I give Walker Hayes credit for that. Walker does some of the flyers. So Walker, I appreciate that. He does. He's got a good creative mind.
Yeah, yeah. I had him on probably 6 or 7 months ago, man,
Yeah,
and man,
he
I love
does.
talking to that dude. He really is. He's really good. He makes intro music and stuff too.
Yep.
And here's the thing about flyers. You do not need every single guy that's going to be
No.
on the card,
No.
on the flyers. I mean, if you're running a weekly show, pick your 2 or 3 things that you're focusing on right now. Make
Yes.
sure those guys are on the flyer. And you
I
don't
don't
have to
need everyone.
just, I mean, some of those flyers, they get
Got
so
20
many,
people on it and clawed
God,
together.
they're on
I
top
hate
of
it.
each other, and then if you go to
Yeah.
looking close, the head's cut off, and I'm like, man, that makes your company. I mean, like you said, that if you're on Facebook, social media, that is the first thing you see,
The first thing, that's what you're going to see.
and
The
and
first
and
thing,
that,
but MIW is MIW. I got to give credit. I guess really the first guy, Mark Manley, Mark Southern. He trusted me. I guess. Well, I also give credit to Randy Bird and uh, Anthony Rogers and Brian Rogers when they was running TIWF. They let me book that show for a while. They did. So there, and then Mark Southern let me
Yeah,
do a lot of the stuff
I knew
there.
you had helped Mark and done some booking
Yeah,
for Mark. I didn't
I
know about
love Mark. I
TIWF.
love Mark. Yeah, I still talk to Mark. I love Mark. It was a situation there that I wish hadn't happened, but it did. You know,
Man,
it's in the past.
there's
It's in the
always
past,
there's
and
always a situation in the wrestling business,
yeah,
man.
it's in the past, and you know, things could have probably been handled different every direction, but
Right.
it happened. It's over with, so
Look, the
it's
first
going
time
in.
when I
And
was
I
filmed,
and I can say this. I'm a little breaking news here. Justin Case is coming back to American Hostile Championship Wrestling pretty
there
soon.
you go. A little breaking news, a little
Yeah.
snidbit there.
So there. Yeah. I'll be back there soon. Then I gotta
So
think. You know, what do you think, man? You gotta think Dustin. You gotta think Dustin Starr. You know,
right,
goodness. I guess he's gave me and Aaron a platform. Aaron more of a platform to make it to where he is now. Right. I solely believe that. Because he put Aaron in front of eyes, right?
right.
He put him there. I mean, he put him there, and I told Dustin that. I said, man, without you, who knows? You know, I mean, Aaron is good enough to be seen, but he put him in front of the right people at the right time, and look what happened. You know, that guys, and all them ID guys that come around here, they all love Aaron. Every single one of them love him.
Right. And that's a big thing in the wrestling business. If the
Yes,
guys like you, you're gonna get booked. It's as simple
that's
as
right.
that. You're gonna get booked, and
Yeah.
and Aaron, since we're on Aaron, I was headed there. How did you find out that he got the ID deal, man?
Well, I found out he probably told his dad and them first. Then I knew. He told me. You know, he said, you know, just keep it between us. I knew for 4 or 5 weeks maybe before it came
Right.
out, and maybe a little longer. It was the hardest thing to do, man. It was, you know, I didn't even tell my wife and my little nephew. You know, Chili Willie, he loves Aaron, man. He does. And I didn't tell him, and then I told him the morning before we go to TV, and we know it's going to be announced,
Right.
right? So I told them both that, you know, hey, Aaron got this. And the first thing Aiden asked me, Chili Willie said, can we go get his action figure?
There you go. I'm
Yeah.
sure it won't be long. You'll get one
Yeah.
somewhere.
So he's like, I was like, well, they don't have them out just yet, right? It was funny, but yeah, he told me, and I didn't tell anybody. You know, I kept it to myself. I was happy for him. I told him that. I still, excuse me, I still send him messages saying, man, stay humble. You know, let this be you. You know what I'm saying? Be you. That's all you
Right.
got to do, because that's what they want. They want you. They saw you. They want Aaron Roberts. They want the problem. Aaron Roberts is that.
Right.
That's what they loved, right? And so that's what they get, you know. And I had fun with all three of them. Man, I had a blast. With them three, it was fun. You know, I think Big Red got burned out being there all day on Sunday.
Yeah, man.
I think he got burned out. Yeah, he came back just to do it for his sons, I'm sure. But he was having fun too now. But like I say, I think he got burned out because it's a long day. I mean, TV's
Yeah.
long. You're there at 10:30. You don't leave. Like Sunday, we didn't leave till 5 o'clock.
Right.
So it's a long day, and
Do y'all take 3 weeks or 4 weeks at a time?
3 weeks at a time.
Okay, that's what I thought.
Yeah, they do 3 weeks. Now we got a couple coming up here. I think they're going to do 4 weeks because of the way they fall the weeks or something. You know,
Right.
so you ain't there as much. And the big thing is let's see what we got coming up. I mean the Grizzlies game. You know, how big is that?
Yeah, that's a big deal, man.
How many people is there? That place is packed, and you get to go wrestle there for your own show.
Is this going to be the one where y'all are set up on the foyer inside the arena?
Oh yeah, up top.
Oh,
Up,
dude, I think that is the coolest. It is the coolest setup, man. I really do. I think
And
that's awesome, man.
I believe Matt Hardy's going to be there. So
That's a big deal too.
that is a big deal. I mean, Dolph Nick was just there Sunday. You know, it was what a great guy, man. Not just saying that, but there's been people come through that I really didn't care for, or the attitude was bad, but
Right.
and most of them here have been awesome. You know, Nick was like super. So it wasn't that. Hey, he's a superstar, right? He could be just any way he wanted to be, but believe me, he was not whatsoever that way.
And you know,
Probably the coolest one of them all that I've ever met, talked to.
and he's a guy that broke into the business when he's still like Ohio Valley guy.
Yes.
He knows what it's like to work in these smaller towns before making it to the big time. And that's something you see. Most of those guys usually are humble, more humble than other guys.
And you wouldn't believe how much he knew about Memphis wrestling.
That's good.
Memphis wrestling. He knew all of it. You know, he was like, man, I'm a Lawler fan. I'm a Bill Dundee fan. He was talking just people, you know, it was that. But you know, a lot of people knock Dustin. A lot of people talk, but I can tell you one thing about Dustin: he's been nothing but nice to me. You know, that's all I can say.
That's how I look at it, man.
Yeah.
Here's the thing: you hear all kind of stuff in this business about everybody. But I always like to keep my judgment for how they treat me.
That's the way I do. I talk about the judge, you know, like he's never done nothing to me. He's always been nice to me. He'll call me, him and Simon. We talk. It's that, hey man, y'all are doing great. I don't want to change nothing. There's no, hey, y'all got to do this. It's, hey, what do y'all think? You know, that's what it is. He puts trust in you because honestly, at the end of the day, it's his money, right?
There you go.
He's putting you on his TV or whatever, and hey, not a lot of people get a lot of time there, you know. Not a lot of people. Yeah, they don't get a lot of time, and we usually get a lot. So it's, I guess he trusts us.
And here's the thing:
you got to trust people, you know.
You got to have people that you got to have guys on your roster that you can tell them what you want, and you can trust them to go out there and do it. You don't have to. You don't have to be all over their backs, constantly on them. You tell them what we're trying to accomplish, and they go out there and do it. And that's all you can ask of talent, man. Is just, you know, come do your job, do it with a smile on your face, or a fucking snarl if you're a heel, whatever, man. But come do your job. Look, Mark McGee, he's talking about the ID championships as Triple H unveiled, and man, the first person I thought about when I seen that was Aaron. I thought, man, that right there is for you. That belt was made for Aaron Roberts.
God, it's a great thing, yo. You know, just think about how many guys have got. I don't know how many has been signed, how many is on the ID, but just think about the opportunity it's give everybody, right?
Right.
And the opportunity, and they're gonna. I think that title is going to be defended like that local shows, right? It's not going to be a WWE thing. It's going to be a tournament at like independent shows.
And it's going to be a big deal for whoever walks away with that belt. They're going to be able to then travel to all these shows with that WWE ID title. And look at what just being able to put that WWE ID beside Aaron's picture and his name has done.
Oh my God,
Aaron, he's all over the place now.
All over. I was just like Saturday at EPW. We was talking. The other ID guys were there, and it's just where they're traveling now. Like Aaron was like, I drove to Tampa, Florida, 13 hours. You know,
It's
13
good,
hours.
though. That's good for
yeah,
him.
it's good. And drive back. We're going this Saturday. I think we're in Illinois this Saturday at is it 01 or something?
I know he's been going to AAW.
Yeah, no, it's a different. I think it's called 01, Zero Pro or something. And
Is this the one? Or is it a tag team match?
yes, Zay's going. Yep.
Are they facing two women?
I think so because they're the tag team champions there.
I think it is, man. I seen that poster and it took me a minute. I kept looking and reading, and then it kind of sunk into me. Here's the thing, I think that's cool too. That's different.
A lot of people say, when I posted that, it's like they're facing women, but that's good because just think about it. I mean, Tessa Blanchard really started it because she won the TNA World Heavyweight title. So I don't know what the angle was. I just know the guy came to TV and said, "Hey, I want all y'all there."
And here's something that's going to be good on Aaron's resume because here's the thing. You don't usually expect to see a 430-pound guy taking on women. So I'm more anxious to see how this match plays out. I'm dying to see this match.
I am too. But that's the furthest I've been in a while. It's like 6.5, 7 hours drive.
So let me ask you this, Justin. What do you think it was? I mean, I believe it was a combination of everything for Aaron, but is there one thing that you think got him noticed?
Well, I think he did what Dave asked him to do. Dave came here and Dave said, we got a Bronson Reed. Why are you better than Bronson Reed, right? He asked him that. That was the words I had. I have a Bronson Reed. I don't need another Bronson Reed. I need an Aaron Roberts.
There you go.
That's what I need. He said, I want you to go to the gym. I want you to get in. I don't need you to lose all this weight because you're so big, it would look so funny, right? I need you to bulk up. I need you to get that cardio up. And Aaron did it. And Dave told him if he did it, that I will get you. I will do what I can. What I told you I would do. And both of them did it. And then Dave did his part, right? Aaron did his. I would send text to Aaron and like, "Hey man, you at the gym?"
And here's the thing, especially for a big guy like Aaron,
cardio
is the key for a big guy getting over. When you as a big guy, if you can get in there and work with the small guys too, keep up with them, that right there, man, opens people's eyes because especially when I broke in, all the big guys just wanted to bounce off of each other. And from day one, I never wanted to do that. I've always enjoyed wrestling and running spots, and you got to be able to work with these little speed demons just the same as you can work with a big guy. And I'm going to tell you something. I feel like Aaron, him getting that deal, his confidence was already up, and he was already starting to kill it. But I think since it got out and he got that call, man, Aaron is a whole different monster than he even was 3-4 months ago.
It's amazing. All those promos, that we've been posting, that's him. 100% him saying, hey, this is what I believe. This is what I want to be. I want it to be as real as it can be. He's the one that does all those. I talked to him. He was on the way back from Royal Rumble or Indiana or Indianapolis, and I was like,
so he got to go.
He did go. Yeah, he went to Indy. I
glad.
talked to him on the way back, and I was like, just checking in. I know it's a long drive, right? And so I always just, when I remember, I'll text him, just make sure. And I was like, what did he say? Man, I done wrote about 5 more promos for us.
Hey, that's what car rides are made for.
Yeah.
Right there, coming up with angles and promos, shit to do, man, shit to say.
I give him all the credit. He's the one that said, hey, let's do this. And he got more creative on his own thing, right? Over and over. He was creative on all of that.
I think
and
that
I'm going to tell you, I remember one night. This is back on Kick-Ass Wrestling, right? KAW. I remember I'd never been to a KAW show, but it was Thanksgiving night here in Memphis. And I told my wife, I said, look, I want to go to this wrestling. She's like, what wrestling? I said, it's called KAW, and I want to go. And it was on Beale Street. And it was on Thanksgiving night. I don't know if he was there. I think he was there.
Yeah. It was in the tent.
It was in that tent. So I got there late, right? I was like, I
Right.
always, if I go to a show, I just want to go there and go. Man, I have never seen so many people in my life inside that tent. That place was jam-packed. I was like, goodness gracious, where are we going to sit? That's what I remember.
Yeah, man, that was it just had an atmosphere about it too. KAW,
it did.
Period, man. It was just something that right time, right place, right everything for Golden and KAW, man. Look, we got the dude. He's on here, man. Aaron Roberts. He said, "Legend, man."
I love Aaron, man.
Hey, I'm ready. I'm ready to see him put that WWE ID title on another chain.
I had to get another chain and scoot it over to the side, maybe, or something.
That's right, man. That's right.
And that's something different too. I hadn't saw a lot of people, and I'm pretty sure there was other people that did that. I like that thing. I like it. It was it's been, man, I love it. I love the ride. And it still ain't over. You know, there's more to come.
So let's talk about that, man. I mean, obviously, Aaron's the lead dog around our territory right now. I don't think nobody can deny that.
Right.
That ain't just my words. WWE decided that.
That's true.
You know, but now you got Zay back with Aaron. You got Denzel back together. You got all these guys back together.
Yeah.
Talk to me about the new wave, man.
You know, Aaron was like, you know, this ID stuff's coming up. I don't know how long I'm going to be here. I don't know. Dustin was like, I don't know, but I want Justin to be here, right? So it was, who do you want to be with? And I was like, well, what do you think? And Aaron was like, man, I think Zay and Denzel, right? I was like, what two better guys?
Right.
What two better guys, right? So,
these are two guys too that, hey, they could very well somewhere in the future be ID guys.
Yep. That promo Aaron did was like, I'm going to be gone here soon, and they're going to run things around here until they get the call up. You know, that was putting them over there. Two great guys. You know,
that first
Denzel
promo.
You know, Denzel got hurt. His shoulder. He hurt his shoulder pretty bad. So I don't know where that's going. I know Zay was there Sunday, so we're still there. Hopefully Denzel can, you know, get back. But
that first promo that y'all cut, kind of introducing the new wave.
Yeah.
That is the best promo that I've ever seen, especially in our modern era. Let's say past, honestly, probably the past 25, maybe even 30 years, where new guys, young guys come out and said what Aaron said.
Oh, it was great.
And it registered with people. It hit me immediately. I thought, I believe these guys. I believe this. Yeah. Normally when guys come out and do that, you're thinking, same old shit, but not that. And I think that's comes from Aaron's conviction, man. I think Aaron believes what he's saying, which in turn makes us believe it.
That's right. I've always told that. If you believe what you're saying, everybody's going to believe it. But if you don't believe it, it's not going to come out like you believe it.
Right.
Aaron said, hey, we're going to say this, and, you know, some people may kick back on it, but, hey, that's what we want. We want them talking about it. And that was the one thing I can say that we are very well at is one-take wonders. We hit those promos when we have pre-tapes. Most of the time, they're one takes. We feed off each other. We just really don't talk about it. You know, it's just
if what you're saying is real and you believe it in your heart.
That's right.
You don't have to do a bunch of takes. It comes out naturally.
It comes out naturally. Yep. The only time usually we have to do a retake is the background. For some reason, I like shooting ours outside. You know, outside by a fence, which just makes it right.
Dude, I love the thing at the end where Aaron does the jump at the guy.
Yeah.
Only thing
Crazy.
need to start having the cameraman react.
Yeah.
When Aaron jumps,
It's funny.
in, the cameraman needs to react, man, and
So-
that would sell that whole thing, man.
So this is funny. That promo you're talking about, our cameraman was Lamont from the Hustlers. So he said when he jumped at him, he did jump. He's like, "Man, you scared me."
Dude.
Those guys, that's two guys I love to death, man. The Hustlers.
And it took them a while, but they finally
finally
captured those Memphis Wrestling Tag Team titles, man.
And a lot of people complained about them. Oh, they're losing. You know who didn't complain? Them.
That's right.
That's right. They knew what their job was. Everybody knows what their job is until it's your time.
There you go.
Right? I believe it so hardly. If you stay there, some of these promoters will try you, right? Let's see if we beat them 4 weeks in a row. Let's see if they come back.
And that's how it's always been. That's part of seeing how bad you really want to be there, right, and what you're willing to do for the company, man.
That's what it is. It's not about you all the time. There's going to be a time where it is about you, and then there's going to be a time where it's time for somebody else to do something.
That's right.
People get tired of seeing it, right? I tell Aaron now is I told him the other day, I was like, damn, I'm starting to hear these cheers. We want Aaron. We want Aaron. And I'm like, boy, what are we doing? He's like, well, it's just a few of them. Let's don't get carried away. So
no, they're going to get more.
They are.
It's destiny. It's destiny, man. Hey, look, here's the thing. Aaron he's a likable guy. He's a big monster. I love his. I wish there'd never been a one-man gang, because that truly is that fits Aaron to the T right now. I wish there had never been a one-man gang, because it is truly, it fits him to the T.
It does. I think it's amazing how as big of a guy as he is, what he can do.
Well, I was going to talk about that, and we were talking about the cardio big guys, because here's the thing. I see some big guys, they do explosive things in the ring, but if you watch, they'll do something explosive, and then they got to rest for that 30 seconds while their guy's selling. Where if you're a big guy, what happens when you go to WWE and you got to go out there and put 15 minutes in,
right,
and you can't do your explosive little sequence of stuff and then sit there for 30 to 60 seconds waiting, catching your breath. You got to be able to go constantly.
I think that's a reason he don't put too many rest holds in there. And I know on TV we probably don't have but 8-10 minutes, sometimes 12 or something. But those whole times they're going. He don't get there to a rest hold. I can't remember seeing him do a rest hold here lately.
Yeah, you got to be able to work that consistently, man, because
that TV time ain't long. Believe me, it's not. It goes by quick when you're out there.
Here's the thing. It might take the fans a little while to notice what you're doing. If you're one of those guys that explode, do a few things, and then have to rest. But it ain't going to take nobody with an educated eye but one time to see you do it, and then to see you do it again and realize this is his moment. This is his MO. This is what he does. He's explosive. Right. He can do cool stuff. But as soon as it's over, there's 30 to 60 seconds there while his opponent's selling, where he's just sitting there resting. And Aaron does not do that. He keeps it moving the whole time.
He keeps it going. That's one thing that. And I've got to be on my toes, because it gets there quick. If I got a spot, I'm like, goodness, they're already there.
Right.
And he does. He includes me a lot. And Zay a lot. It's Zay and them kind of understand. Hey, we know why we're here right now, but we know what we're getting out of this.
Right. We know where we're headed. Where we're going to.
We know where we're headed. We know where we're headed to. We know what the future looks like. So it takes people. It takes time. You gotta have patience. A lot of people don't have patience. They want it now. They don't want to wait.
Right. Instant gratification. Let me ask you this: Man, I am dying to see Aaron away from here. I know it's going to be a blow for Memphis Wrestling. I know it's going to be a blow for you, but I want to see within the next 6 or 7 months, I want to see Aaron gone. I only want to be able to see him on WWE TV, man.
Oh, no doubt. I want it. There would be nothing on me. You know what I'm saying? That's what my goal was when we got there is to get him where he needed to be. You know, I think it took the hardest. Also, what took the hard, I heard Dave said, "Hey, you got a little girl, don't you?" He said, "Yeah." He said, "You want her to be set for life. You don't want her to have to struggle." And I think he took that to heart. You know, and that's why he's working so hard too. You know, but I want to see him gone. No doubt, man. Get gone. I want to come pay. I want to come to Nashville. I want to come pay to watch it. Right.
Right.
I want to turn on Peacock and see a 30, 45 minute thing with Aaron. You know, whatever. Yeah, I can't remember. I'm lost for words on that. I don't know. You know what I'm talking about. 30, 45 minute bio of Aaron Roberts.
There you go. Right.
That's something. You know, I want to. That's what the goal was, right?
And here's something about Aaron. He's in the perfect place because we all know at the end of the day, WWE loves strong characters.
Yes.
And Aaron's character is off of the charts, dude. It is. Yep. It is off of the. I mean, really, he's ready now. He's ready to be on NXT. I believe that. I believe he could walk out on NXT and make an impact. I believe one showing.
Because look how there's no big guys on NXT. Like maybe one. I don't know. I can't remember his name. I don't watch a lot of NXT, but the champion or whatever might be the only big guy there.
Right, and he's not a big guy like Aaron.
No,
there's no Bam Bam Bigelows out there. There's no big Van Vaders out there. Right. There's not, those guys don't exist really no more. The way Aaron is, and I think his character, I think his in-ring, I think it was a perfect storm at the end of the day, man. He growed up in this business. He's comfortable in the wrestling ring, and that goes a long way right there. It's second nature to him to be in those ropes. And now that he's got that acknowledgement, his confidence. And I'm a big preacher of confidence for pro wrestlers. Pro wrestlers, confidence is a huge deal in my head for pro wrestlers because, man, if your confidence is low, you can see it out there in the match. If your confidence is high, you can see it in the match, man. Yep. It's a big factor of where you are mentally in the wrestling business.
And I'm not just saying this because I'm with Aaron, but I haven't saw him have a bad match.
You're right, I hadn't either.
I haven't, and I would anybody, whoever, if he had one, I would say, hey man, this match was not that good. But every time I come back to that curtain, I got to think to myself, man, goodness gracious, I just loved it. Dustin the same way, he just walked right there. It was like, goodness, every week.
He makes an impact every time. Every week he makes an impact, no matter what he's doing.
And everybody likes him. You know what I'm saying? Everybody likes him. People ask for advice, and he'll give it to them. He's not the type. And say this, and I don't know if he wanted to. I don't know. I may get heat from him. But yesterday was training at Memphis Wrestling, right? He didn't have to be there. He drove from Milan, Tennessee, all the way there to help them young guys.
Right.
And he didn't have to do that, right? He don't have to go down there and do that. But that's what he loves to do is help them guys. And some of those guys, those young guys that's in that school, that's the future, I believe. There's some good guys over there now. There's some that needs work, but there's the guys and girls that come out of there. Look at Tim Bosby, right?
And y'all, I mean, they've got a big crew of trainees from what I can tell. Like, what it looks like to me, there's probably minimum of 15 to 20 young trainees that are there working and stuff, man. That's a big crew of talent, man.
Yeah, there's a tag team coming out of there. They're called Slaughterhouse.
Aaron said he didn't make it yesterday, but he will be
Okay,
in the next
well,
few weeks.
okay. I knew it was. He said he was going. I'm glad I didn't drive over there. So no, I'm just kidding. But there's a tag teams in there. There's one that's called Slaughterhouse. These guys are big old boys.
Right, I
And
seen
I
them.
think, yeah, I kind of like them. They're nice. There's people, there's some in there, but that I don't know them all. It's hard to remember all of them names. I watch them all, and they all come to the back and say, "Hey, what can I do better? Did I do anything wrong?" And if you tell them, they don't argue with you. They don't say, yeah, but this is." They don't give an excuse, right? They want you to tell them, and then they say, "Thank you. I'll learn from that." They don't say, "Well, I wouldn't have done it if." It's no ifs there.
right.
Yeah, it's so most of them that I've talked to, and some of them I hadn't, but they all want to learn. They love wrestling. They want to learn it. Uh, and there's a lot of young talent around here too that's not at Memphis Wrestling. I mean, I like Isaiah Cone. I
Yeah,
mentioned MIW. That guy's pretty good. I think he's out there.
I'm a big fan of Insane Dane, man. I
Insane
love it.
Dane, yep.
I love Dane, man.
He said give us some Nashville Fairground stories.
There you go.
Oh my God, man! I remember the Moon Dogs. I can tell you another story about the Moon Dogs. So I guess I was about 10 or 11, and I was scared to death of the Moon Dogs. Right, scared to death. And my grandmother's sister's son was a chief of police in Belmead, which is a suburb, but he worked security at the fairgrounds.
Right.
So he told them I was scared of them. So they came out and chased me, and I took out about 3 rows of chairs. I was scared to death of them, man. That was something. Fairground story. I finally got to work the fairgrounds when we did the Tony Falk family angle. I literally, after it was over, tears was in my eyes. You ever, you just think, man, finally, this building.
I don't think people realize sometimes how much some of this stuff means to. I mean, it could be something that somebody else looks at as something trivial or small, but for like you growed up there. That place was a sacred place. That was your Nashville Mid-South Coliseum. So, man, to get to actually finally go there and work that building, man, it's cool, man.
Yeah, the greats that came through there, man. I mean, you name them, they was in that building. The main event before. You remember when Luger worked Yokozuna?
You're right.
Was it SummerSlam on that Sunday? A lot of people don't know this. The night before in Nashville, Tennessee, Yokozuna worked Lex Luger. They did the exact same match.
Right. That's back when you could do that still, man.
Yeah, you still do that because there was nobody new, right?
Right.
Nobody. There was the dirt sheets wasn't there. They may have been started, but there was no way they could get that out before the next day, print that. But yeah, Yokozuna worked Lex Luger. Vince McMahon was there. Bruce Pritchard. I think Bruce was there. Maybe not back then. But I do know what was the guys with Vince. Everywhere he went, they was with him.
The Stooges.
Yeah,
Pat Patterson and Briscoe.
Yeah, they was there. They was there to watch that match. They did. It was exact move for move. It was. I watched the pay-per-view on Sunday. It was like, that's the same match I had last night.
And here's the thing: you can see Vince McMahon showing up at the Coliseum. You don't expect Vince McMahon to show up at the Nashville Fairgrounds, man.
No, you don't. I mean, came right out there and sat right there and watched the match. They didn't. It was crazy, And I got to meet Vince McMahon in Memphis. Whenever he came here with Lawler and them, Tony was booked on that show, and he was in Lawler's. He was in somebody's corner. I don't remember. Was it Owen and Brett's or?
I think Lawler ended up working both of those guys in Memphis.
He was in there. He came here in their corner. He was in their corner one night. Vince was in Memphis, and And he came back there, and Lawler had that one locker room where he went in, and the
Right.
rest of them. But Vince came back there in the big open locker room back there. Was talking to everybody. He was cool. I mean, he was nice. But
I think we ought
story.
to have I think every town, every decent sized town needs a Nashville Fairgrounds. That just the way it was set up, it was
Look,
perfect for wrestling.
Heels on one side and baby faces on the other.
Perfect for wrestling, man.
It was,
It's just
and I'll tell you another story is. So the only way to get the finishes over, because there was no cell phones, right, was the referees had to take them finishes.
right.
Well, they used to say if Frank Morrell didn't like you, he was going to tell them the wrong finish. So, so they'd say, hey, I'd be there with Tony, and Tony was a babyface at that time. He jumped there and said, hey, go over there and tell, I think it was Steve Hall, maybe them, hey, we're going to do the same finish we did in Louisville, right? Well, Frank Morrell, if he didn't like you, he'd go over and say they told him we'll do the finish we did in Memphis. Well, it might be different than Evansville. He'd go over and say, hey, do the finish in Evansville.
Right.
Well, they screw up the finish, and he'd like, I told the son of a bitch to do whatever, do Memphis. And he did Evansville.
Frank just having a little fun, man.
That's
All it
what
was.
it was. He was having fun. And the funniest thing, and another thing I remember from there is there was these two guys that worked in Nashville, and they only worked in Nashville, and Buddy Wayne was there. And he said, hey, guys, I just talked to Jared Jarrett, and he wants y'all to get a tie-dye suit and tie-dye yellow and brown. And he wants y'all at TV Saturday. And he's going to call y'all the drizzling shit.
Shit, right.
That's the first time I'd ever heard that, right? Them dudes was all excited, too.
Man, I could see the look on their face when he hits them with the drizzling shit. Go from smiling just sad as hell, man.
Sad. Oh, man, I thought you were for real. He's like, man, y'all are horrible.
That's hilarious, man.
Yeah, there's some stories, man. It's been a lot of them. You can't remember them all.
Right.
But a bunch
Justin, man, we've been on an hour and almost 40 minutes, dude.
Yeah.
I guess we're going to call it a night, man. It's snowing its ass off up here.
It is here. I just looked out my back door, and, man, it's some big old snowflakes.
Dude, it started snowing, I want to say, probably 6 o'clock here, man. And it started just little spitting snow, and then it kicked up about 6:30, and it is steady going, man. I bet you there's already 3 inches or 4 inches of snow outside. Justin,
crazy.
man, I appreciate you so much for coming on, dude.
I
have enjoyed this, man. I'm glad I finally got you on here where we could learn about you, man, and hear what you got going on and hear your thoughts about wrestling, man. You're a knowledgeable guy. You've been in the business forever. I'm anxious to see you back at American Hostile too, dude.
Oh yeah, we coming. I sent Mike. I sent Mark a message last week, and I said, Saturday, he was like, "Come on." I sent it to him on a Saturday that y'all had a show, I guess, last week or the week before.
Right.
Yeah. I like Mark. Mark's a good guy, man.
Mark McGee said it's snowing there too. Yeah, we know it's snowing there. He's up in New York, so he probably got.
Oh, it's cold there.
Yeah, he probably got 4 foot of snow, man.
I've been there one time. We went there to play baseball in Cooperstown, and ain't never going back. It was hot.
Justin, man. Once again, dude, thank you so much for coming on, man.
Yep, thank you.
And you and your wife, y'all have a great night, my friend.
All right, man. Appreciate it.
All right, y'all. You seen it right there. Justin Case, manager extraordinaire, manager of the Memphis Wrestling Heritage Heavyweight Champion, and WWE ID guy, Aaron Roberts, manager of the New Wave. Got a lot of experience in the wrestling business. Hey, Friday nights, MIW, Middleton, Tennessee. If you're anywhere close, go check it out, man. See what they got. They got a lot of good talent over there. Always have an action-packed show. Go check them out. Guys, I appreciate everybody who tuned in. I appreciate everybody who interacted. Before we get out of here, I want to plug my upcoming podcast one more time, and then I'll let y'all go.
I've got an itch I can't scratch, I'm missing a piece that completes a whole part of me, an open wound scar to see. Everybody come here, gather round, welcome to the freak show, the best in town. What the hell's wrong with me? I don't get along with anybody, honestly. I've been living in my own head constantly, thoughts jumbled round, think I need a new lobotomy. Wait, all these thoughts are too negative, I don't wanna get lost in the sedative. Gotta show them what I got, I'm competitive. You know I'm about to go off, I won't let them win, I'll take a stab. I wanna chase a bag, I wanna weigh, I can change all the things I lack. I gotta face the facts, I got a taste in that. Got me obsessed with the rest, I got an itch to scratch.
I'll give up everything. If I can see my dreams, I'll make things right. 'Cause I'll do anything to make what a reality. Don't let go. Don't let go. I'll make things right. 'Cause I'll do anything to make what a reality.
I just wanna find a way out, sick of the venom in my brain. Running from the past, wanna escape my pain. I just wanna be a better person, I deserve this. I just wanna break these chains. Always destined for greatness, true to myself, I never fake it. Seen too many ones that are so they get famous. And when I say the truth, most really can't take it. In spite of everything I've been through, I'ma make it. Fake friends, but on my downfall is toxic. Day one, started to outlaws for profit. All I do is write verses, no talking. All I do is put the work in, no option. This was everything I ever wanted. Created a legacy off of me just being honest. And the fake ones hate, but it's all to no avail. They wanna see me lose, but you know I never fail.
All right, y'all, you seen it right there. Got a bunch of great podcasts coming up. Tomorrow night, the great debate. Johnny Dotson versus Jason Genesis. Old school versus new school. 7 p.m. We're going to be on YouTube and Facebook Live. Come interact with us. Ask questions. They might even make it on the show. Y'all take it easy until tomorrow.
I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up.
I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up and make a statement. I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up and make a statement.
Everything I do so instinctive and so passionate. Every word I move so descriptive like an adjective. I got a vendetta against people who patented being negative when you should be getting after it. I got facts over tracks, this and that. Spitting slow, spitting fast, I could roast, I could gas. Think I'm okay at last, but I don't know if that can erase all the past. And the pettiness, a reflection of the emptiness. Hilarious, you think you're with my time, you're delirious. Mysterious, because you hide behind a fake exterior. Inferior, you know I'll always be a bit superior. Get off of me, this ain't no humble brag. I want you to hear words, you can say them back. I want you to feel free from the chains that last, and to believe in what you got, it was built to last, yeah.
Now that I've been put through hell, I never got anyone's help. I had to do it all myself.
I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up and make a statement. I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up and make a statement.